Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a journal with me, and I am super excited to do this because this is something that I want to start doing more of on my channel. And the date that I am doing is yesterday, which was December 14th. And I'll talk a little bit more about just my journey with journaling, and all of that when I do my flip through for November and December. So I'm going to get right into this. Before I get started, I am using the book from the cardstock book that I got is from Hobby Lobby, and it was a really good price, like $6.99, and I felt like I got a lot of difference. One thing I like about this book is it has like 4 sheets of each design, and so it gives you just enough space, and I like the sizing to it as well, because even though I still had to cut some things down, I didn't feel so wasteful or that I was hanging on to the rest of it for so long. So I am going to try to use I wish I could use the whole piece of paper in there as well for each sheet, but I try to make use of the scraps after I cut it. So I decided to do a journal with me for this particular day because I felt a lot of different emotions as to the things that occurred during the day. So normally I do not listen to the news or the radio. Whenever I'm in my car, I'm always listening to podcasts, my Apple Music or something like that. I never listen to the actual radio. Or I'm always listening to Pandora as well, but not the actual radio. I only listen to the radio when I'm on my way taking my kids to school, and that's because I'm never driving during that time, and so the radio is going. I also don't look at the news, and not typically because I know a lot of people say that they don't look at the news because it's depressing. I don't look at the news because it makes me angry, and it just like reminds me of how this world is and how some people is in it as well. So I try to only look at things that I, so to speak, need to, like if I'm following COVID or any type of specific news. Typically, I like to look at David Muir because it's like a good collection of weather top stories, but I don't listen to it. I don't watch it every single day. So I ran across this article and of showing what happened when it was through my email, Yahoo. And if you guys have the same thing, or if it comes up for you, each day it will bring up different stories through my email. And so I tapped on it for something else, but it wasn't this story, and this story was below it. And I'm from Chicago, so it says, Chicago father violently attacked, killed while hanging Christmas lights outside of home. And I pressed the video. I almost braced myself before I did it because the last videos that I have been watching or I have seen have been violent videos, whether it was everything that has been going on lately that's caused like the social unrest. So I try not to, or I'm very leery now of when I press the video, because some things you can't unsee. Some things you can't just get out of your mind. It will be there and it will stick there. So I pressed the video, and it showed that they gave the report of how the man was hanging Christmas lights outside his home, and 2 people came and like violently attacked him. I think they hit him in the head or something like that. But I was more so focused on his son that was saying like how he was a hard worker and the type of person he was. But the emotion that was on his face kind of said it all. I mean, it was a mixture of just trying to understand, it seems like, what was going on, but also trying to remember his father, of who he knew him to be. And I just couldn't imagine, like, losing someone that quickly. And even though we know it happens definitely with COVID and everything that's been going on, I think life and just the appreciation of life and realizing that it's a gift that doesn't have to happen is more noticeable now than ever. But especially with the uprise and uptick in violence in different areas and parts of different states in the world, it just brings this to remembrance. And I have lived in Chicago all my life. I recently moved to the suburbs because it's a better school system. My kids are special needs, so that is something that is very much important. But I do very much love the city. It's just disheartening when you see things like this because it tugs at your heart, but more so for the loss. And sometimes I look at different things that happened, and it's like it's such a loss of regard for mere life. Like a person's life is not valued anymore as to them being a person and an actual being and a life. Sometimes my friend was just telling me the other day how her friend's sister, who is pregnant, got robbed. And they came up behind her, put the gun to her head, took everything, and took her car. It's just, and I the first thing that had came to mind with that was, don't people kind of think like, what if this was my mother that someone was doing this to, or what if this was my sister? And it's just that lack of regard for life that is disheartening. But this really touched me because I love this season. This is like my favorite season, my favorite time of the year. And when people always ask, they say, I said, not just because the snow, even though I love the cold weather, it's just because this time of year typically brings out the good in people. Like, people are joyous, they're happy, the music in stores all around, it's so many different activities going on. Kids are happy, parents are happy, just everyone is happy. It's get-togethers, it's family things to do, it's outings and dinners and food and just a lot of different things that brings together this season. So to hear something like this and me just see it and think like this family will always remember at this time of the year, so close to Christmas, that they lost their father or their son or their brother. And it touched me again because this is a favorite time of the year for me. And I had to kind of take it in, and I thought for a minute before I did this, like, maybe I shouldn't like do a video on me journaling this because I don't want to bring like a negative light on something that's positive, whether it's journaling or just the season. But I decided to do it because it's, for one, something that I'm experiencing. And not all the time am I going to have content that is just going to make everyone joyous and happy, because this didn't even make me happy. But I do strive, and I want to always be authentic and real in what I'm feeling. And I feel like journaling, that's one of the huge reasons why I like journaling, and I've enjoyed it for so long. And I strive to continuously try to immerse myself in it, especially now because I'm trying to figure out a lot of things just within myself. And journaling is a great tool to do and use it with, because you're able to get out these feelings, to get out these emotions. And that is something that is very important to me. And so even though it wasn't the happiest thing, I wanted to kind of share it in hopes that maybe whoever is watching this will take that extra time with their family, or, look more into and kind of think like, wow, I'm grateful, that I still have my parents living, or, I haven't experienced anything like this, or, whatever it brings. I am trying to take a lesson learned or something from whatever is negative, because it doesn't have to stay with me. So the fact that I'm able to get this out is important. Now, this was at the beginning of the day. Now, this was toward the first part of my day. Now, toward the end, I was so upset about it, and it kind of brought my spirits all the way down. But then I decided to, I was thinking like, well, what can I do to make me feel better? And at first my mind went to eating a couple of gummy worms, which I love, or having a drumstick ice cream. And I've been trying to just really focus on what I'm feeling and how I'm reacting to whatever emotion I'm having. And so I was like, well, let me do the crafts that make my kids gifts for their teachers, like put that together. And crafts always make me happy, like journaling and being able to do certain things like that always makes me happy. And I needed to do it anyway because they have to go to them on Friday. So I just decided to immerse myself in that, because I feel like whenever I'm journaling or doing anything that involves crafts or something like that, it gets my mind off of whatever I'm dealing with, and it serves as a wonderful coping skill to me, which is why I initially wanted to get started in creative journaling, because I used to do scrapbooking, and that's what that did for me. So to be able to add some words to all of this is that much more better for me. So I spent the rest of the night, and I didn't rush to do it. I took my time to do it, and it allowed me to think about how sometimes I feel certain emotions and I sit with them. I don't try to think or do something that will make me happy or move me from that one state. Not that there's something wrong with feeling emotions of being sad, confused, angry, tired of seeing certain things, and speechless, which is the emotions that I just wrote out. It's not that it's anything wrong with it, but I choose not to stay in it for so long, because I know that's where the unhealthiness comes in. Staying in that emotion and not processing and working through it. So I decided to just take my time with that. I didn't try to rush it. I really was in the moment with making it, and it made me happy because it brought me back to why I love this season. And yes, even though things happen that are not the happiest, things happen that we don't want to happen, we can turn to something else that helps us get through that. And I was really just proud of myself that I was able to hone in on a coping skill that actually helped me in the moment and not allowed me to continue that anger on. So I definitely encourage anybody that's watching that doesn't regularly journal or hasn't journaled using pictures or anything like that, or haven't journaled about something that they see outside of themselves. Because I know when I first started journaling, it was all about my day and what was going on with me. I really didn't take into account everything else around me. I deal with the people that directly affected me, but I never journaled about things that happen in the news or things that happen around the world and how it makes me feel, because ultimately I feel as if it's the things that we see not only within our lives, but also around us that makes us kind of carry these assumptions about the world and ourselves or the people around us, and just how we take in the things that go on around us. So I encourage anybody who's listening that haven't journaled or haven't explored journaling to definitely try it, because it can be a great release. I am also kind of trying to get used to using a spiral notebook. I've had this for a while, a long while. But again, like I've told you all in previous videos, I don't want to be wasteful. And so I want to start utilizing the materials and things that I've already had that I've just bought in impulse or I've gotten as a gift and just kind of put to the side. So I like this journal because the pages that I'm using now, a certain amount of pages is lined paper The next set, because it's like a 3-in-1 notebook, the next set is the dotted grid. And then the last part is a blank pages. So I'm excited to be able to move through this. And it's so big, and it's a pretty strong spiral on it. And I like how the front cover is hard and durable as well. So I'm excited to get through this and, just finally work through this journal. I used to just go through when I was just writing in journals, I would move through those. But since I've been like trying to do creative journaling, I'll admit I've gotten discouraged and stopped and started and came back and forth. So I'm excited to be able to get through this. And I'm going to share a different video of what encouraged me to move to a different type of journal like I'm using now, because I did have the Moleskine one, and I think when I do the flip through, I'll kind of talk about what made me switch with that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Let me know what you all think below. Like, do you typically journal about things that happen to you or things that happen in the world or around you? Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.